Hello, welcome to another Informatica video tutorial. My name is Fernando Guerrero. I am a cloud solution specialist, and today we are going to talk about the limitation of execution steps or processes that we have in a Taskflow in Informatica Cloud. In this video, we are going to explain what is an execution action and what is the limit of execution that we have per Taskflow. Also, we are going to give you a couple of tips of what to do when you are reaching the execution limit. I'm going to show you a small demo with a Taskflow so we can understand these concepts better, and I will have some reference for more documentation. So what is an execution action? So when you have a task, decision, a jump, all those different steps that you can have inside your Taskflow, when you run all of them, you're required to run different processes in the background. You are not aware of these processes, they are just happening in the background. The more complex the step is, the more process Informatica will need to run in the background. So we don't have a relationship of one step is equal to one execution process. It's not like that. It's not one-to-one. The more complex the step, the more execution process we will need to run in the backend. We have a limit of 10,000 execution processes per Taskflow, so you need to be aware and keep in mind this one every time that you design your Taskflows. And some design tips that will help you to when you face that you are reaching the limit. If you have a Taskflow that has so many processes in parallel, and if those processes don't depend on each other and you are reaching the 10,000 limit, then we recommend you that you split this Taskflow into 2 or more Taskflows. Another tip is like if you are using loops, you need to run this loop not so often. You need to reduce the frequency of these loops. For example, you have one loop that is checking for the condition of a previous step, and you are waiting until one step has finished. If you run that loop many times, you are going to consume a lot of execution steps. I will show you that in the demo to help to understand this issue. So as I mentioned before, loops is usually something that consumes a lot of execution. And if you have a loop that is going to run very often, you are going to consume a lot of executions in your Taskflow. And I have one example here, okay? So just imagine, you are running your task number 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then, in order to execute the task number 6, you want to verify if the task 3 and the task 5 already finished successfully. If both of them are already finished successfully, then you will execute the task 6. If one of them has not finished, then what you're gonna do is you're gonna wait, and after a waiting period, you will come back and check the task 3 finish and the task 5 finish. If yes, then go task 6. If not, then go again to the wait and the decision. And here is where you need to understand, you need to know, have a knowledge of, in average, how much each of your tasks is going to run, because that's gonna help you to decide what the waiting period is. And for example, let's say that data task 3 takes 5 minutes to execute, but the data task 4 takes 10 minutes, and data task 5 takes also 10 minutes. So here it's gonna take you 20 minutes until you finally finish executing the task 5, while here it's gonna take you only 5 minutes. So just imagine if you finish this one, it has been 5 minutes. This one is still running. So after you finish task 3, you come to the decision and it's going to check, is task 3 already finished successfully? Yes. Is task 5 finished successfully? Well, not yet, because task 4 is still running. So then go, wait a specific amount of time, and then jump again to decision to check if task 3 finished and if task 5 finished. We have seen scenarios where customers put here a waiting, for example, 10 seconds. So just imagine you finish here in 5 minutes, you come, you wait 5 seconds, and you check again. Oh, task 3 finished, but task 5 has not finished. Go here, wait 5 seconds, and go back and ask. So you know that this is gonna take a total of 20 minutes to complete. So you are gonna be running this loop many times, and that's going to consume a lot of execution steps. So you need to play with the waiting value in order to avoid running a loop like this so many times. So if you know that this is gonna take 20 minutes, you don't need to run this every 5 seconds. You can play with this number. It will give you the best performance, and also at the same time it doesn't reach the limit. So you can make it like run every 2 minutes or every minute. So in that way you are going to reduce the frequency of this loop. This is something that we have seen that customers are not aware of, and that's going to consume a lot of execution steps. Also, another thing is like here in the waiting, we recommend a list of 20 seconds, the waiting period, because the way that the background, all the threads are working, we need 20 seconds to make sure the information from all the threads are captured correctly, and it's not going to create some issues like the threads controller doesn't see the result of one thread. So yeah, in the waiting, I recommend you at least 20 seconds waiting time. But yeah, but this is something that you have to keep in mind when you have these kind of loops, and there are designs that are very complex, and maybe in one task flow you are going to have like a more than 5-7 loops like this one. So that's going to be consuming a lot of execution. So you need to keep that in mind. Try to reduce the frequency of how often you run this loop. And just to show you that the relationship of one task is not one-to-one with how many execution steps, here I am going to show you, and this is the way that how you can know how many execution steps you are consuming in your task flow. How many execution processes you are consuming in your task flow. So you come to once you run your task flow, you come here to monitor, and you choose, let me refresh this one. You choose the task flow that you run. If it failed, if it's in suspend or successful, you can come here. And you see this one, it has one single data task. And remember, I told you, the more complex your mapping is inside your data task, you will be consuming more execution process. So you are here in the monitor. This is your data task flow. You come here, and you will go to the advanced view. Once you are in the advanced view, come here to the magnifier. This is gonna show you the task flow log. And you can copy this log. Copy this log, and you can place it in any text editor. Let me make sure to copy. I am going to paste it here. And then I am going to search for this word, executing. And here, for example, for this data task, it's just one single data task. We can see in the log that we have the word executing 77 times. Okay, so that means that just running this task flow is consuming 77 execution processes. So that's what I told you, it's not one-to-one. Depends on how complex your task is, it's going to consume more executing processes. So you have to keep this in mind. So you try to make your designs the most efficient possible, and not and especially when you have this kind of loop, don't run these loops so often. And also, what happens if you reach the execution limit? Your task flow will go into suspend status. So basically, what is going to happen is you will come and to see in the monitor your task, and you will see maybe that this task executed fine. You don't see any error, but the task flow is in suspense status. And that one reason could be because you already reached the limit. If your task flow is very complex, that you have so many tasks, so many processes in parallel, that you could reach that limit of you have so many loops, and those loops are running so often, very often. I mean, you are going to consume. So that's a way. If you see that it's happening, if your task flow going to suspense without any error, just check in the logs how many execution processes you consume, and that will tell you if you need to redesign your task flow. If you want to learn more about task flows in Informatica Cloud, you can go to the following link, and you will see a lot of documentation about different features, settings that you can utilize when consuming task flows in Informatica Cloud. We will appreciate if you give us a feedback about what you think about these videos. You can send us an email, or you can also send us a message in our social media platforms. Thank you very much for watching this video.